already beautiful beyond description. It's already magnificent beyond your wildest imagination. It is already there, and there's nothing that we need to do about it other than to show up. Show up and declare the good of who we are. So there are tools available for you. There are paths that are opened up. There are journeys that you get to travel on in order to bring you to the light of day, to the new horizon, to the new dawn, to the new life that is just waiting for you to allow it to express in you, as you, is you. One of the other things that David brought up this morning was this idea. He didn't use the word, so I'm going to just put it into his statement. The idea of synchronicity. There is no accident of why we show up, where we show up, when we show up, in the way in which we show up. There truly is, my opinion, my philosophy, there truly is a greater plan at work. The universe is waiting upon you to deliver your greatest good. And as I began to look at this idea of synchronicity, and I was reading the Science of Mind magazine this morning, and if you haven't gotten a copy of this month's Science of Mind magazine, then after service, before you go to the practitioner note card table, before you go to the AIDS walk table, before you go get your coffee and your cupcake, before you enter into the prayer circle, I want you to dash to the bookstore and get a copy of this month's Science of Mind magazine, because it is profound. Every one of them is profound. I have hundreds of copies going way back before I was born that I've collected over the years. And they're timeless. I can pull one off of my shelf, and it makes no difference when it was written or who wrote it. It's profound. And in today's, or this month's magazine, there's an article about Christian D. Larson, who was a metaphysical teacher. And as I was reading the article, I thought the synchronicity in this is almost, beyond my comprehension. For I began to I found out in here that he was born on a farm in Iowa, not too far from where I lived, back in the 1800s. And this week, as I was sitting in the dental chair for the second time in the last 2 weeks to get a couple of cavities filled, I happened to be thinking about my childhood and our family dentist, whose name was Dr. Larson. Now, if you grow up in Iowa, Larson in the Lutheran community is like Smith in the phone book. So how they were related, I don't know. But I was like, isn't that incredible that this is showing up? And then this individual, Larson, was putting out some affirmations. He was going to become a Lutheran minister, and then got redirected and ended up as studying in the Unitarian theological school. And then as he was publishing some books, Will Rogers, the famous comedian, picked out some of his things and said, this is really good stuff, and we're forming a charter group called the Optimists, and we want to use your words for the Optimist Creed. Everybody here know about the Optimist Club, fraternity club that is about doing good, about bringing forth the optimistic approach to life. And so here's Christian Larson, and his words have created the creed for the Optimist Club. And Christian Larson is a author who influenced Ernest Holmes, and Ernest and he were friends and were communicating, and Christian later became the associate editor for the Science of Mind magazine. And I was like, how does this all, this can't be by accident. There has to be this connection that's moving through, that's bringing us forth into an idea that there is an awakening in consciousness. So I went back to brush up a little bit on my elementary Latin, and I came out with the phrase exemplum ab conscios, which basically translates into the example of consciousness. A person who models the idea of consciousness. And I thought, what a wonderful way to bring the ancient into the current. To talk about the idea of consciousness. Why do we worry? What is there to worry about? I mentioned to somebody this morning, I said, I don't worry about today or anything that's going to happen, because today is already set in motion. My worry is about tomorrow. I want to know what's going to happen tomorrow. I want to be in charge of tomorrow. I want to make sure that tomorrow is going to be another perfect day. So yes, I do find myself in those places where I get into a little bit of a frenzy, I get a little bit frantic, and I get a little bit worrisome about things that are going on. But when I sit in the silence, when I allow myself to become still and quiet and peaceful, I know that the universe is there to support me. I know that there is nothing to worry about. I know that life is 100% guaranteed supporting me in anything and everything that I desire for my highest good and for the highest good of everybody that walks in my sphere of influence. And today, you are in my sphere of influence. So I'm going to take you on a little journey. I'm going to ask you to kind of go within, and I'm going to give you a few words to contemplate with. So if you just get yourself comfortable, take a couple of nice deep breaths. If it feels right for you to close your eyes, and just allow the music of the piano to take you deeper in within your soul. And these are the words of Christian Larson. Promise yourself to be so strong that nothing can disturb your peace of mind. Promise yourself to talk health, happiness, and prosperity to every person you meet. Promise yourself to make all your friends feel that there is something in them. Promise yourself to look at the sunny side of everything and make your optimism come true. Promise yourself to think only the best, to work only for the best, and to expect only the best. Promise yourself to be just as enthusiastic about the success of others as you are about your own. To forget the mistakes of the past and press on to the greater achievement of the future. To wear a cheerful countenance at all times and give every living creature you meet a smile. To give so much time to the improvement of yourself that you have no time to criticize others. To be too large for worry, too noble for anger.